Good morning, students. Today we are going to see our next session, that is session number 2, how to insert and use images. So images can be added to a document in so many ways. Means in openoffice.org writer, if you want to insert any image, you have multiple methods to do this. You can insert the image file, means the file of the image, means image in JPG format, PNG format, means the image directly you can load in the writer document. Or if you are having a scanner and if you have a hard copy of the image and you want to load it in writer, directly also you can do this, means directly from a file scanner or any program. So suppose I have a hard copy and I want to insert it in writer. So I will use the scanner. I will put the hard copy in the scanner and after scanning directly I will get the copy. Or we have some preloaded images in gallery of the OpenOffice also. From there also we can insert images. These are those images which are regularly needed. So these are preloaded in the openoffice.org gallery. So let's see how we can insert an image file. So when the image file is in a file stored in the computer, means in a folder or in a drive in the computer, we can insert it by so many methods. Means if we have the image file stored in our computer, we can easily insert it in the OpenOffice document. So we have so many methods. First method is drag and drop. The easiest method that we use to insert image is drag and drop. So let's open openoffice.org writer. So right now we have openoffice.org writer and I will just decrease the size of this one and I will open a folder where I will be having some images. Suppose here I have some images. Okay, so suppose I am inserting this image here. So we have one image, thank you. Okay, and I want to insert this image from drag and drop method. So this is the place where I am having the image and here it is. So we have to open the file browser window, means where we have the file I have opened, and we have located the image that I want to insert. The image is thank you. Now I will drag the image in the writer document and I will drop it using the left mouse click. Now a faint line will come that will mark where the image will get dropped. It will be a square or a rectangle. So let's do this. So I will open this file and this one is also open. So I will just drag and drop. So here you can see a rectangle that is showing where the image is going to be inserted, and this is the line in writer. Okay, so I ended here. So wherever I want I can put the image. The image will get copied. Now here we have copied the image, means one more file is created in writer of the image. The image is now having two copies. One copy is in the main folder from where I copied and one copied is saved with writer. So this method is actually embedding, saving a copy of the image. We are actually saving a copy of the image file in the writer. Suppose we don't want to make a copy. We just want to link it because the image is in the computer. So if we link it, then also the image will be visible. So instead of going for copy, I can go for linking also. So if you want to link the file, Instead of embedding it, means creating a copy, what we have to do, we have to go with Control plus Shift key when we will drag the image. So let's see how we can do this. So I'm deleting this image right now, and here our image is, and this is. So when I will start drag and drop, I will go for Control plus Shift. So I have clicked here on the image, and now I am going for Control plus Shift, and then I am going to drag it. Here you can see create link option is coming, and when I am putting it, this link option is coming. Okay, I will drop the image. Now image is shown because the link is correct right now. Means in this file we have the image here in D folder, D drive and teaching folder. But if I will change the link of the image, suppose thank you I will cut and I will paste it somewhere else, the link will not be working. So if I will change the location of the image will not get loaded. That is the problem with link. Okay. So if you don't want to create a copy of the image, you want just to link the image because the image is in the computer, you can create a link also. That also we can do using Control plus Shift. Now we have one more method to insert image using the insert and then picture option. So again we have to open the OpenOffice document where we want to insert the image that will appear, and then we will click on insert and then picture and then from file option, and then it will open a dialog box where we can open the file from the computer. In both the methods drag and drop and insert picture, the image should be there in our computer. So let's do this. So here we have the OpenOffice Writer. I am deleting this one and click on insert, then picture and then from file. And it will open the files in my computer from where I can I can copy the image, embed the image. I will click on thank you. Here also you will see two options. One is sometimes you will get preview option also. Sometimes it will not come. Here you will get preview option also, and one more link option. So instead of linking, I am going for copy. So I will just select this and then I will go for open. So the image will get copied. So we are embedding the image right now. So at the bottom dialog there are two options. Basically two options do come, preview and link, but mine only link was coming, preview option is not coming. But here you can see preview option is also coming. Preview will give a basic preview of the image so that you select the right image. You can verify that you have selected the correct file, correct image file. Now what is the use of link? We just studied about link, that link will be just giving the path of the image. If the image is in the same computer, no problem will come. So let's see what is the problem with link, or what is the advantage of link. If the link option in the insert picture dialog is selected, O will create a link to the file containing the image. Means they will give the path, and every time when you will open writer, the image will get loaded. Instead of saving a copy of the image in the document, it will create a link only. The result is that the image is displayed in the document. When the document is saved, it will only contain a reference, not the image. Now the document is opened, then it will again load the image, but they will have two separate files. One file will have the image and one file will have the writer word. What are the advantages and disadvantages? Advantage is that if you will link, it will reduce the size of the document because the image is not embedded. Images are usually of big size. So basically if the writer document is of 200 KB and you insert an image of 500 KB, it will become of 700 KB. So instead of making the writer document heavy, you can make it light. So it can reduce the size of the document when it is saved, because the image file itself is not included. Right now only link is included. So file size is usually not a problem on modern computers if we have very good memory. But if we have large graphic files, means if we have so many images, it will hang the computer if we are using a basic computer, or it will take more time for the image, for the writer document to get loaded. So if it is a large file, it will create problem. So in large files you can go for link option. There is a disadvantage also. If you change the path of the image, means suppose here I was having the image in D and then teaching folder. If I change the image from there, it will create problem. One more thing, if you will copy the image from this computer to another computer, then in that computer it will not come. So if you send the document to someone else or move it to a different computer, you have to send the image file also, otherwise the receiver will not be able to see the link images. That is the problem. So let's do this. Okay, so in my folder we have thank you here in D teaching, and I am changing it. First let's see if we have embedded the image. So insert and then picture and then from file, and here I am linking, not embedding. So thank you and then link and then open. So here this is our image, but this is not embedded, this is linked. Okay, so now just change the location. I am cutting the image from here and I am pasting it in here. Okay, so I have changed the location. In our writer document, I just created the link, means the whole path. So let's see what happens. So when I will save the image, I'm saving it with the name image in writer and then save. So right now you can see the image, but when I will open it again, image in writer, then you can see I'm not able to get the image because we have changed the path or the location of the file. So you can see it is clear. It was in D drive teaching folder and the image was named thank you. So we just gave the link. Okay. The image was not embedded or copied. So this will create a problem when you will move it to another computer or another folder or anywhere else. This will create problem, or if you change the path or location of the image. So it is better to save a copy if you are going to change the file location, or if you are saving it on another computer also. Next is inserting an image from the clipboard. You all know about clipboard. Clipboard is a temporary place where image or file gets saved when you try to cut or copy and then paste. So using the clipboard also you can copy image into any OpenOffice document. Okay, so how you can do this? So we have to open both the source document from where we have to copy and the target document. Both we have to open, and in the source document we have to select the image to be copied. And we have to move the mouse pointer there, and we will go for the shortcut Ctrl+C, or I will right click and select copy. So both we can do, either Ctrl+C or right click and copy. The image will be copied to the clipboard. And then I will switch to the target location, open that, click at the place where I want to save the image, paste the image, and I will go for the shortcut Ctrl+V to paste, or I will go for right click and then paste option. So both we can do. So let's open, suppose here I have the document. So right click and then copy, and here we are, let's delete this and right click and then paste option. The image will get pasted. Okay, so this we can do, or we can go for the shortcut Control plus C for copy and Control plus V for paste. That also we can do. Now one more thing is there. If you are copy pasting, when you copy something, it goes to clipboard, and when you paste it, it comes from the clipboard. So in this whole process, you should not close the place from where you are copying till the copying work is complete. So if the application from which the graphic was copied is closed before the graphic is pasted into the target location, the image stored on the clipboard could be lost. So we have to make the file remain open till we copy the image file onto another document. Next is inserting an image using a scanner. If a scanner is connected to your computer, so directly if you are having a hard copy, you can directly get a soft copy from the scanner. So OpenOffice.org can call the scanning application, means scanner will be directly connected to OpenOffice.org writer, and you can insert the scanned copy in the OpenOffice document as image directly. If I have a hard copy and I want to copy it in writer directly, I do not need to copy it and save in as a JPEG format image and then again embedding it in writer or copying it. Directly we can also do this. So if you want to do this, you have to click where you want the graphic to be inserted and then select insert picture and then scan. So let's do this. Delete, insert picture, scan. So select source. So here my printer is not attached with my computer, so it is not coming. But if I will attach my computer with printer or scanner combined together, then this will come, and then I can click on select to select the program from where I can scan it. Although this is very easy to do this directly, if I am having a hard copy, I can quickly create and easily create a soft copy out of it. But it will be a problem. Suppose my hard copy is having some problem, some margins is not set in the hard copy, or hard copy was having some problem with the image, something was there on the hard copy, so that will also get copied directly. You cannot do editing on the image before copying it to writer. Directly whatever you will scan will get copied. So it is unlikely that you will get a high quality image of the correct size that you want, because you are not able to edit the image after scanning. Directly you are getting it. So you may get better result if you get the scanned material into a graphics program after scanning. Then you can clean it up if you have anything on the. If we will clean it after scanning, and then we can insert the resulting image into OpenOffice. Now next is inserting an image from the gallery. Gallery, OpenOffice.org gallery contains preloaded images that you can conveniently copy to the writer directly. So the gallery provides a convenient way to group reusable objects, means those objects like graphics or sound, these will be preloaded. Whatever you need again and again, you do not need to copy it from somewhere, you can have it in your gallery. that you can easily insert. In MS Office suite, we have the clip art. The same thing is with this gallery. So gallery is available in all the components of OpenOffice, either openoffice.org writer or Calc. It is available. It does not come with so many graphics, but you can add your own picture also, or you can find extensions containing more graphics online also. So if you want, you can download some more graphics from online sphere also, or you can insert your own image as gallery also, so that whenever you need the image, you can directly copy it. Let's see how we can do this. How we can go for the gallery icon. So let's open, and here we have the shortcut gallery. Click here, gallery will come. Click here, gallery will go. This is one method. Or I can click on insert, and here we have the option of we have the option in tools gallery, tools and then gallery. Click on tools and gallery again, it will vanish. So tools and then gallery. Okay, now in this gallery we have so many themes. We can select whatever theme we want, and suppose rulers or schools and university. Suppose I want this image, so I will just drag and drop this image here. The image will get copied. Or we have one more method, right click, insert and then copy. It will copy the image into the writer document. So either click on the gallery icon, or we'll click on tools and then gallery. If you want to insert the picture, either you can click and drag it from the gallery. I just did this. Or you can right click on the picture and choose insert and then copy. Now by default, the gallery is docked above the writer workspace. You can see by default the gallery is above the writer. Gallery is above the writer workspace. If you want to expand the gallery, we have to position the pointer over the line that divides it from the top of the workspace. What is that line that divides it from the top of the workspace? This is the line. So we have to put our mouse pointer here. So the line that divides writer work area and the gallery, we have to put the mouse pointer here. Okay. When the pointer changes to parallel lines with arrows, you can see it has changed to parallel lines with arrows. Then what you have to do, you can click and drag it downward or upward. Means we can resize the gallery. So see this. We can increase or decrease the workplace or work area. We have one more option. If you want to expand the gallery without affecting the workspace, means the writer workspace area, you can undock it. Right now it is docked at a place. You can undock it also, so that it flows over the workspace, means you can change the position. So if you want to do this, you have to hold the control key and then you have to double click. So let's do this. I am pressing the control key and I have to double click here. See, it is undocked. Now I can move it wherever I want, so I will get a better workplace to work on. So what I did, I used the control key and then I double clicked on the upper part. Now we have to double click on the same area while holding the control key if we want to dock it again, means if we want to restore it to its original workplace location. Let's do this, control and then double click. It is now at the same place from where we undocked it. Now when the gallery is docked, right now you can see the gallery is docked at the same place. It is at the fixed location, means it is docked. So when the gallery is docked, if we want to hide it and view the full writer workspace, we can do just this one. Just place it here, it will become up two parallel lines with arrow, and then you can hide it. Gallery is open. You can now open it also again also like this, or you can hide it. So you have to click in the middle of the thin bar separating the gallery, and then we can drag it. And if you want to close the gallery, we have the option Tools Gallery, and then it will get closed. So I will go to Tools and then Gallery. The gallery will get closed. I will click here, gallery will start. Click here, gallery will go. Modifying an image. When you insert a new image, sometimes you may need to modify it, edit it, so that it suits the document the way you want you get the image. So here we are going to discuss the use of picture toolbar, how we can resize the image, how we can crop or cut parts of the image, or how we can rotate the picture. So first of all, we are going to see how we can use the picture toolbar. So whenever we insert an image, okay, suppose here our image is inserted. So here you can see the picture toolbar, or if image is there in your document, you can click on the image, it will open the picture toolbar. So when you insert an image, the picture toolbar will come, or when you select one already present in the document, there also picture toolbar will come. Now if you want picture toolbar to always present, then you have the option, or if you don't want the picture toolbar to be present always when you click on the image or when you insert the image, you can do this. So suppose I don't want the picture toolbar to automatically come when I click on the image or when I insert any image. So view and then toolbar, and here you can see picture toolbar is selected. So I can deselect it. Now picture toolbar will not come. Okay, when I will click on the image, now picture toolbar will not come. If I want to again make it available, because it is very important, so it should be available, I will click on picture again, then picture toolbar will come. So view, toolbar, and then picture. Now picture control buttons from these picture toolbar can also be added to standard toolbar. This is the standard toolbar. This is the standard toolbar, and you can add some picture control buttons from this picture toolbar to standard toolbar also. So click here, customize toolbar, and here we have to select some buttons from the picture toolbar. This is our picture toolbar, and here we have so many buttons from file, filter. These are the buttons from file, filter. These we can, if we want, we can add, and then we have to click on OK. So this we can also do. So when you open the picture toolbar, there are two added toolbar in the picture toolbar. There are two other toolbar that you can open from picture toolbar, that can be opened from picture toolbar. One is the graphic filter toolbar and the other is the color toolbar. So there are two toolbars which are attached with the picture toolbar that you can also open. Let's see. Here we have this one, filter toolbar. This is opened, and this is the color toolbar which is opened. This is the color toolbar. So graphic filter toolbar and color toolbar. These are the two toolbars which you can attach, which you can detach also from the picture toolbar, which can be torn off and placed somewhere else on the window. Means the graphic filter toolbar you can torn off, means you can split from the picture toolbar and you can place it somewhere else on the window. Let's do this. This is the filter and we can torn it off and we can place it somewhere else in the window. It will work as if it is a new toolbar. So we can torn it off and place it somewhere else on the window. And the color toolbar, which opens as a separate toolbar. Always when you will click on the color toolbar, it will open as a separate toolbar. So it is always a separate toolbar. So these are two attached toolbars with the picture toolbar. So now we have three toolbar. One is the picture toolbar, one is the graphic filter toolbar, and one is the color toolbar. So you can apply small corrections to the graphic or the image to obtain some special effects. So let's do something. First is the graphics mode. So we have the image, and if you want to insert another image, you can directly click here and you can take image from your computer again. Means instead of going to insert and then picture and then from file, you can directly get it from file here. Now we have the first option. This filter is a very large option, so I will go for this one, graphics mode first. Here you can see we have so many modes available. The main one is the default one, means the default way in which we have inserted the graphic, means the same appearance of the graphic will come in default mode. But we can go for grayscale, black and white. So suppose I change it to grayscale, or I can change it to black and white, or I can change it to watermark. Watermark will make it so much dim so that you can use it below any text that you write. So this is watermark, very dim image. So I'm going for default now. So graphics mode, default, watermark, black and white, grayscale. So you can change the color image to grayscale, black and white, default, in whatever way you want. Next is flip vertically or horizontally. If you want to flip the image, you can go for this. So I'm going for default now. Here we have this one, flip horizontally and flip vertically. Flip horizontally will flip the image horizontally, and flip vertically will flip the image vertically. So to flip any image vertically or horizontally, we have to select the image and then click the relevant icon. Either flip this one or this one. Horizontally, this one you can see. This one is the horizontally and this one is the vertically. Filter. Filter is a very big topic. We have so many filters for the images. One by one we will see all of those filters. In table number 1, so many filters are given. So we will study them one by one. Filter provides so many options to change the effect of the image. So the best way to understand the filter is to see them in action, how they work. Okay, so we can experiment with so many filters. Now suppose you have done something and you are not liking it. So the image is not changed, or you can go for backspace option also. So you know always that you can go for Ctrl plus Z for backing your action. You can go for Ctrl plus Z, that is undo. Or you can click on edit and then select undo. That you can also do, or you can go for Alt plus backspace. Alt plus backspace sometimes do not work. So suppose you have done something, suppose I have changed it to grayscale and I don't like it. I can go for Control plus Z, undo. I undid my action. Or suppose you have gone for black and white, you can click on edit and then you can select undo from here also. Both will work. Color. You can use this toolbar to modify the RGB color, means red, green, blue. You can increase or decrease the redness, you can make it greenish, or you can change the blue color appearance. So you can modify the individual RGB color component of the image, means red, green, blue. You can change the brightness also, you can change the contrast also, and you can change the gamma of the image also. If the result is not satisfactory, you know, Control plus Z or edit and then undo, so that you can restore the default condition. So let's see the color toolbar. So this is our color toolbar, and here we can change the RGB color red, green, blue. We can change the brightness, contrast and gamma of the image. So suppose I change the redness of the image, it will become red. Okay, we can make the image more greenish, that also we can do. We can change the brightness level, we can make it more bright, or we can change the contrast. And one more thing, we can change the gamma of the image, that we can do. Suppose I don't like this thing, so again you can go for Control plus Z, Control plus Z again and again, and at last you will get your same image, same old one. Control plus Z again and again to undo your previous action. Now we'll see the different filters. So we have the first filter, invert. Inverts the color value of the color image, or if it is a grayscale image, it will invert the brightness value. So it inverts the color value of the color image. So let's go for this one filter. I have cut it off. This is our first one, invert. See, it inverted the color value. Or if it is a grayscale image, then it will also invert it. Next we have smooth. It softens the contrast of the image. So let's undo our action first. This is our smooth, which it will smoothen the image. So it softens the contrast of the image, whereas sharpen will increase the contrast of the image. Now sharpen will increase the contrast of the image. Let's undo our action and let's move to the same picture which we had. This will smoothen the image, means decrease the contrast. This will sharpen the image, means increase the contrast. Increases the contrast of the image. Remove noise. Remove noise means any extra thing that is in the image. It removes any single pixel from the image. Single pixels are extra things from the image. Image will become more clear. So we have this one, remove noise. So our thank you has become much clear now. So any extra pixels, single small pixels, it will decrease or delete. Again we can go for Control plus Z and we will get our old image back. This is our old image. Solarization means decreasing or increasing the solar effect, means light effect. mimics the effect of too much light in a picture. If you are in at the back side, you had sun rays, then your image is more or less solarized. So you can mimic the effect of too much light using this option, solarization. So when you will click go for solarization, one more option will come, and here you can increase or decrease the solarization effect. Okay, the lesser you want, you can go for. Aging, how the image will appear. If you take a hard copy of the image and you put the image for so much time, how will the image appear? So it will actually simulate the effect of time on the picture. If you have a hard copy, what will be the effect of time on the picture? You can apply it several times. Let's see this also. Aging, this one is aging. So aging degree, and then okay, you can apply it multiple time also. How will the image will appear if it will have some time which you have placed it. So after some time the image will be like this. It will have age effect. When you take the hard copy, the hard copy will become like this after some time. Posterize, let's again undo our action, control plus Z, or edit and undo, edit and undo. This is redo, control plus Y. Posterize makes a picture appear like a painting by reducing the number of color. So you can go for this one, posterize. How many colors do you want? Suppose I want 16 colors. So okay, the image will appear as if it is painted. Again control plus Z to get the image. Pop art, it modifies the picture. Let's go for pop up art also. Okay, next we have charcoal effect. It will display the image as a charcoal sketch, as if someone has sketched the image. So go for charcoal, it will appear as if someone has made the sketch out of the image. Undo our action, control plus Z. Relief, a dialog box is displayed to adjust the light source that will create the shadow and hence the relief effect. So we will go for relief also. Using this you can create a shadow effect. The image will appear as if it is a shadow. Okay, and last one is the mosaic. It will join groups of pixels into a single area of one color. Image will not be clearly visible in mosaic because it will group all the pixels together into a single area. So we can go for the last one, mosaic. Not that much clear because all the pixels have been grouped together. So these are the different effects that we can apply to any image. Next we have transparency. Let's change our image to its original position. In transparency, we can modify the percentage value in the transparency box in the picture toolbar to make the image more transparent. 100% transparent means image will not be visible, it will become totally transparent. So the more the transparency, the more transparent the image is. It is particularly useful when you are creating a watermark, means if you are putting the image behind any text, then it is very useful. You can make it transparent. Or if you are wrapping the image in the background, then also you can do this. So let's go for transparency also. This is transparency and I am making the image at least 50% transparent. So it will appear at the background, then it will be somewhat visible. Text will be somewhat visible at the, if the front we have text, it will be visible. If I'll make it 100%, then it will totally vanish. Totally transparent. Nothing will be visible. Let's go for 0% transparency. Using the formatting toolbar and picture dialog. There is one more toolbar, that is formatting toolbar, and one more we have picture dialog box. So when an image is selected, when you select an image, you can customize or edit some aspects of its appearance, means border or shadow effect you can give to the image. So there are so many tools which are available in the formatting toolbar option. So let's do this, how we can format the picture. So either you can click on the formatting toolbar to do this, or you can right click and select picture. The options are, you can put border around the image, you can select the style and color, or you can put shadow effect. Let's do this. So right click and then select picture, this one option. It will provide you one picture dialog box, that is the formatting toolbar for the image. And here borders we are having, so you can put border. Suppose I want a line as the border with the color yellow, so I will get it. Okay, you can see borders we have. Again right click picture, and then we have different styles of the border that you can put. Suppose I want this border which this much thickness and yellow color. So you can see I got the border which more thickness and the color yellow. So right click and then picture, or you can put shadow effect also. Suppose white and then here none, I am putting color gray. Suppose you can make it as shadow also. This is the shadow effect that we can put. So these things also we can do. We can give shadow to the image. We can put borders with different colors to the image. That also we can do. Cropping images. Cropping means cutting a part of the image. So when you are only interested in a section of the image, not the whole image, for the purpose of your document, you may wish to crop or cut off parts of it. You may wish to cut some part of the image or crop some part of the image. So if you want to start cropping the image, you have to go for the picture dialog box, and from there we have to select the crop page. So let's open. This is our image. I will right click and select the picture dialog box, and here I will go for the crop. We have so many options here. I will go for crop. So this dialog box will get opened. Now in the crop page, you can control some parameters. First is keep scale or keep image size. Here you can see we have two options, keep scale and keep image size. Keep scale is the default one. It will be automatically selected, but you can go for keep image size also. Now what is the meaning and what is the benefit of using keep scale or keep image size? When you will go for keep scale, which is the default one, which is automatically selected when you open the picture dialog box, if you will crop the image after selecting keep scale, the image does not change the scale of the picture. When you will crop the image, it does not change the scale of the picture. What does it means? Okay, so let's first crop using keep scale. Okay, so right now I am going for left. So here you can see it is showing. This is the original size of the image, 2.86 into 1.91, and when I try to cut
it off, means crop it off this way, then you can see width got decreased to 2.44. okay, we are keeping the scale, means now the size of the image will get changed. Scale is same, it means the size of the image will get changed. okay, the size will become 2.44, width and height will be 1.91. let's go for some more. You can see now the width is 2.02 and height is 1.91 as it is. okay, so when I will go for keep scale, it will decrease or increase the size of the image. okay, you can see the image was cropped, cut, and the size of the image also got decreased as per the cropping. But I am going to undo. We got the same image and now I am going for keep image size. So size will remain as it is, means 2.86 inches width and 1.91 inches height will remain as it is. For example, let's do this. You can see I have cropped the image, but the width is as it is 2.86 and height is as it is 1.91 inches. okay, so image size will remain as it is. So what will happen? Size should be here, but I am cutting this part in the image. I am going to cut this much part. So what will happen? The left part, which is left, will increase in size to cover the size of the image. Let's see. See, the part which was cut was increased in size to tally the previous size of the image. okay, let's undo this also. So we saw both the things. Keep scale with will crop the image and it does not change the scale of the picture, means whatever way you are cutting, the rest image will be there, means the size will get reduced. And if you will go for keep image size, then if you go for positive cropping value, right now we went for positive cropping value, then the image was enlarged to cover the rest part, means the size of the image remained the same. If you will go for negative value, means if you want to increase the size, then it will shrink the image to copy the same size, means size of the image is not going to change. The image size will remain constant. Now for cropping we have different options. You can crop from left, right, top or bottom. So the image is cropped by the amount entered in the boxes. Here in the boxes, whatever amount I will insert in left, right, top and bottom, this will decide how much image will get cropped. For example, if you will give 3, it will cut from left side 3 inches, not 3 centimeter, 3 inches. okay, when you will keep scale, means it will cut 3 inches, width will be reduced by 3 inches. But if you will go for keep image size, the size of the image will remain as it is. The image will get reduced by 3 centimeter, but the rest size will be captured by the rest part of the image by enlarging the image. So image size will remain as it is. Suppose this is our image and suppose I cut this much part of the image. The rest part will enlarge to cover the whole part of the image, means size is not going to change. Next is width and height. Here you can see we have the option of width, height, width, height. So scale also we have, image also we have, width and height. So width and height fields under either scale or image size change as you enter values in left, right, top and bottom field. they will automatically change. For example, let's see this. Suppose I do this like this. By default, scale will be 100%. Means when you will have the original image, then the scale will be width is 100%, height is 100%. Okay. Now suppose I am increasing the left cut. Now you can see width is 117%. Width is 117% and height is 100, because height we have not changed, width we have changed. So this scale will be changed. Now here you can see, if you will go for keep scale, then when you will go for keep scale, then width and height will change. But if you will go for keep image size, width and height will not change. Original size will remain as it is. For example, suppose I am changing it. Now you can see it is getting changed. But here we have 2.86, 1.91. So image size will remain as it is if you will go for keep image size. But if you will go for keep scale, then size, width or height will get reduced. Suppose here you can see it is getting reduced. Okay, right side, if you want to go for right side, then also you can see top, also you can see image size is getting reduced, because we have gone for keep scale, which is the default one. Resizing an image. Might be that the image which you have inserted is not perfectly inserted into the document. Might be it is too big or too small. So if the inserted image is not perfectly in your document, you can change the size of the image. So here what you can do, how can you resize the image? Click the picture, and when you click on the picture, you will see these green squares at the corner. Okay, green resizing handles. So this pointer will change to a different shape, by which you will be able to understand that now you can do the resizing. So you can see when I will put the mouse cursor here, it will change to double-sided arrow. It means that now we can do the resizing. We'll click and then we will drag to resize the picture. Okay, and then we will release the mouse button when we are satisfied with the size. So click and then resize, and then you can release the mouse button when you are satisfied. It will increase the or decrease the size of the image. We can decrease also, we can increase also. Click here and then decrease, click here and then you can increase also. The corner handle which I used right now, it will resize both width and height of the graphic object, while the other 4 handles will only resize one dimension. These 4 handles will resize only one dimension. You can see right now I am resizing only one dimension using these, but the corner one will allow you to resize width and height both. Now we will go for Ctrl Z again and again, so that I get the same original image which I have inserted. This is my same original image which I had inserted. Okay, now if you want to retain the original proportion of the graphic, you can use shift and then you can click one of the corner handles and then you can drag. It will create one copy with the same proportion of the graphic. So let's do this. Control. Yes, shift. You can see the image is getting increased or decreased with the same proportion, means same proportion with height and same proportion with width. Okay. So if you want to retain the original proportion of the graphic, means height and width should be as it is. Suppose height is 10% and width is 20%, it should remain as it is. So we will go for shift plus click one of the corners. Then you can release and you will get the size. So no changing in the dimension. The percentage of height and percentage of width will remain as it is. Now there is one problem with bitmap image. Raster images like JPEG and PNG, but in raster images we have one image that is bitmap, BMP. So when you are resizing a bitmap raster image, then you have to be aware that it will affect the resolution. The image will become blurred. So it is better to externally size your picture if you have a bitmap image, then you can insert it into your presentation. Right now if you will do cropping of bitmap image, it will result in blurring of the image only for bitmap. Right now you can see I am going for different format, but for bitmap you have to be careful. Now for more accurate resizing, we use crop page. Right now we were using the crop page of the picture dialog box. And for images we have the type page also. You can see we have the type page also. Here crop and here we have the type page. Both we are having. So on the crop page you can adjust these things. Scale width and scale height we saw right now. So we have in percentage the scaling of the picture. You can see in type you can change it width and height, and then you can see it will be in percentage, right? You can see right now it is in inches, and when you will click this it will come in percentage. So scale width and height in type you can change. You can specify in percentage the scaling of the picture, and then the size of the image will change according to that. So for a scaled resizing you should have both the values identical, means same. Image size, specify the size of the image in your preferred unit of measurement. Okay, so here again we can go for image size. Okay, so here we have two options. Either we can go for percentage or we can go for in inches. So whatever your preferred, you can specify the size of the image in your preferred unit of measurement, either in percentage or in the form of inches, and then the image will enlarge, increase in size or shrink according to that. Original button will, when you will click on the original button, it will restore the image to its original size. When you click on original size, the image will be restored to its original size, that is 2.86 and 1.91. It will come to its original size. Now in the type page of the picture dialog box, we have one more option, relative option. Okay, this one is relative. We just saw this. When you will click on relative, it will change to percentage. Here also it will change to percentage. We just saw this. If you want to toggle between percentage and inches, then you can click on relative box. So we can toggle between percentage and actual dimension, that is in inches. For a scaled resizing, we can select keep ratio option. Here we have the keep ratio option. This will help in scaled resizing of the image. And we know that when on the crop page we click on the original size, it will restore the image to its original size. Of whatever size the image is, the image will be as it is. Okay, so original size will change the image to its original size, 2.86 into 1.91. Previously it was different one. When I clicked on original size, it changes to its original size. Now rotating a picture. If we want to rotate our picture, so writer does not provide any rotating tool. There is no any tool for rotating a picture in openoffice.org writer. So you can do one thing, there is a simple workaround. Either you can open draw, that is drawing, or you can open presentation, that is impress. So let us do this. So I will click on file and then new, and then from here I can select either drawing, means draw, or I can select presentation. So I will get impress. So better to go for drawing. So I have opened OpenOffice draw, and when we have opened OpenOffice draw using file new and then drawing, then we have to insert the image. So for inserting the image, we know the options. We can use any of that mechanism, any of those options which are available for inserting the image. Now here they have made a mistake. Actually, they have copied this whole book from the openoffice.org's official help page. Okay, so in copying, they have made a mistake. You can see the official page of openoffice.org, and here you can see insert the image you want to rotate. You can use any of the mechanism described in adding images to document. How to add image to document, we know. There are three mechanisms. We can follow any one mechanism. So you can use any of the mechanism described in adding images to a document. Although there will be slight variation. Suppose how to insert image in OpenOffice Writer or how to insert image in Draw, there will be slight differences. You will have menus at different position and icons at different positions, but mechanism will remain as it is. So let's follow one mechanism, very easy one. Click on insert and then picture and then from file. Same mechanism are there in writer also. So from file, here we have, suppose I want to go for this one, holiday. So this is our image. Now we have to select the image and then we'll go to drawing toolbar. So at the bottom, we will have this drawing toolbar. You can see this drawing toolbar at the bottom. By default, it comes. Okay. Now in this drawing toolbar, it is shown by default at the bottom. We have to select the rotate icon from effect. From effect toolbar, we will select rotate icon. Effect toolbar is a tier of toolbar, means you can take it out also. This is the effect toolbar and it is a tier of toolbar, means you can take it out also like this. And here you will select the rotate option. Click on rotate option. Then you can rotate the image as desired. When you will click on rotate option, you will see the red handles at the corner of the picture. Right now we are able to see those red handles at the corner of the picture. And now you can move the mouse in the direction you wish to rotate. By default, the picture will rotate around its center. You can see by default the picture is rotating around its center. This is the center. This is the center and the picture is rotating around its center. Very easily we are able to rotate the picture around its center. That is indicated by a black cross here. You can see the center indicated by a black cross here. You can change the center also. You can change the pivot point or the center by which the image will move by moving the black crosshair to the desired rotation center. This black crosshair to the desired rotation center. Now the image will rotate wherever we want. This will be the center of the rotation of the image. So now we can rotate the image by wherever we want. There is a problem. Suppose I want to go for 90 degrees, so I'm not sure if this is 90 or this is 90, this is 90. There are some problems in rotating if we go for 90 degrees. So there is one solution for this: shift key. So if you want to restrict the rotation angle to multiples of 15 degree, means if you want to go for 90, it will become easy, or if you want to go for 45, it will become easy. You need to press the shift key while rotating the image. So here I am pressing the shift key and then I am rotating. See, it is getting rotated by 15 degree. It is totally 90 degree because we have used shift. Now we have to select the rotated picture by using the Ctrl A. You can leave Ctrl A also. You can just use Ctrl plus C for copy and Ctrl plus V for paste. Shortcut for copy and paste. So select this one, Ctrl plus C for copy, and here in writer, suppose I want to paste it here. So here Ctrl plus V for paste. The image is pasted now, embedded now. Creating drawing objects. So we have one more option to use in OpenOffice.org Writer, that is using drawing tools. So first of all, we need to display the drawing tools. So here we are in OpenOffice.org Writer. Basically at the bottom drawing tools come. Right now it is not visible. So we have to open the drawing tools. So view, toolbar, and here you can see we have the option of drawing. When we will select this one, it will open the drawing toolbar. So view, toolbar, and then drawing, it will open the drawing toolbar. When we will deselect again, then it will vanish. So it has gone. So we want it, so view, toolbar, and then click on drawing. So we have the drawing toolbar with us. Now in this drawing toolbar we have different options. Let's see those options. This is select, this is line, this is rectangle, ellipse, free form line, you can directly create a line, text, call out, you can type something, write something here. We have different basic shapes, all of these shapes are available. Okay, these are symbol shapes, these also you can use, different symbols are available like flower, octagon. Now this one, block arrows, so many block arrows are available. This is flow chart, so many flow chart options are available. Again this is call out, so many call out options are also available. This is star, so many types of stars are available. These are points, this is the found work gallery, and here from file again you can insert another image, and this is extrusion, you can on or off the extrusion from here. Now to use a drawing tool, if you want to use a drawing tool, you have to click in the document where you want the drawing tool. You can change the location also. So first you are going to do it, select the tool from the drawing toolbar. Okay, suppose I want to select this one, rectangle. I will just click on rectangle and it will get selected. The mouse pointer will change to drawing functions pointer. You can see it has changed to drawing function pointer. Just wherever you want, you can just drag and do it. So you have to move the crosshair pointer to the place in document where you want the graphic to appear. Then click and drag to create the drawing object. Then click and drag to create the drawing object. If you release the mouse button, I just release the mouse button. Now you can see rectangle is still active. After making one shape, it is still active. So you can draw another object also of the same type, means same rectangle type. You can draw another. Okay. When you are complete and you don't want to go for rectangle again, then you have two options. If you want to cancel a selected drawing function, either you can press the escape key from the keyboard or you can select the icon again. So either you can select the icon again. Here you can see now it is not giving the option to create rectangle, or you can press the escape key also. It will vanish. So we have two options, either directly click on the icon again or we can go for the escape key. Now when you have created the tool, even we have created the shape, okay, now you can change the properties of the shape. You can fill color in it, you can change the line type, you can change the weight or width of the line, you can do some anchoring function also, and so many other functions are available of the drawing object. Right now we created rectangle, so this is our drawing object. Either you can use the drawing object properties toolbar. This is drawing object properties toolbar. This is the drawing object properties toolbar. So many toolbars are coming when we have created one object. So these from here also you can do, you can fill the color. We have so many color options available here. Okay, color you can fill gradient, you can fill hatching, you can fill bitmap. So we can fill different colors are available. We can go for any color, whatever color we want. So you can fill color, you can change the line type, and you can change the width of the line also. Suppose line type, we can go for this one, whatever line you want. Suppose I want this type of line, and you can change the color of the line also. Suppose pink, and you can change the width of the line also, like this. So you can use the drawing object properties toolbar at the top, or you have one more option. You can just right click, and here also you will find so many options. Line, area, text, arrange, alignment, so many options are available here also. So you can right click also on the drawing object to get some more functions.
Set or change properties for drawing objects. So how can we set properties for our drawing objects that we draw? For example, we draw a rectangle or we draw ellipse. So how can we change or set the properties? Now if you want to set the properties for drawing object before you draw it, before creating any drawing object, if you want to set their properties, you want them to be in this condition. Okay, by default different conditions are given. By default the color is black. By default the length of the uh, outside border is 0. If you want to go for a different property, you can select it before the creation of the object. So what we have to do on the drawing toolbar, we have to click the select tool. So let's open this. This is the select tool. So this one we will select. Now we will see the option to define different properties will come. So now in the drawing object properties toolbar, this is the drawing object properties toolbar. Here also you can see this is the drawing object properties toolbar, and here you have to click on the icon for each property. There are so many property based icons, like you can change the line type from here, border. You can select the length of the border, width of the border from here. Sorry, you can change the width from here. Suppose I want to go for this type of border. I want the color to be green. Okay, color of the border to be green. I want the area. Now we have some more options. When I click on area, some more options will come: shadow, transparency, colors, gradients, hatching. So inside I want it to be having a gradient of colors. This also you can pick So these things you have taken previously. So whatever you have selected will come when you create any object. So you can set the properties before also, before the creation of any object. So you can go for area or line also. We just went to area for more options, and here this is line. Here also we have so many options. Line color I just change it to green and width 0.12. You can go for some more options. Arrow styles also. Okay, this we have selected. So the things which we have applied will get applied to our current document and the current session only. It is not saved permanently. Suppose I will close the document and I will open document again, then again it will come with the default property, not with the one which I have selected right now. So it is not retained when you close the document or close the writer, and it does not apply to any other document we open. This is the default that we have selected only for this file right now only. The default apply to all the drawing objects right now, except text. Text is exception. Text will not have these facilities because text is a different thing. When we go for text, text is a different thing. It will not have these things which we have selected. So by default the color was black and the border was different, but we have changed it. So let's see if it is applied or not. So let's select rectangle. So you can see whatever things I have applied is applied to it before. I took gradient, now we have the gradient. I took the color of the border green, color of the border is green, and the width is 0.12. So you can give the properties before also, but after you have done this, then also you can change it. You can change the properties for any existing object also. You have all of these options. Now these options are, we do not have to study these options in detail, but at least we should know the name of these. Some of them we have used also. This one is for giving the line. Lines means the border line. Okay, these are for the arrow style. If we go for any arrow, these are the line style, the border line, whatever type you want. This is the width. Color of the border. Inside, if you want to fill any color or gradient, this you can click on area. Here you can rotate the image also. If you want to move with the object to background, you can go for this one. Then if you want to bring it front, or if you want to send it to back, then also you can do this. This is for changing it to anchor, changing the anchor. Okay. Now some more properties are available. You can also specify the position and size of the object in the page. You can change the rotation, and you can change the slant and corner radius. Three things you can change. So how can we do this? So we'll right click on the drawing object and then we will select position and size. So right click and then we will select position and size, and here you can see we can select position and size, rotation, and slant and corner radius. Position right now width and height is given. Position of it is in paragraph. So whatever we want we can change from position and size also. Resizing a drawing object. You can change the size of a drawing object also. Before we change the size of an image, so likewise we can change the size of a drawing object also. The same process we have to follow. So the same consideration for resizing an image, the way we resize the image, we can resize the object also, means rectangle or ellipse also. So what we have to do, the same thing, we have to select the object and we have to click on any one of the 8 green handles around it, and we will drag it to its new position. So this is our object, and when we will click on it, you can see these green handles, and we can just use the left mouse button to drag, and we can change the size. Now if you want to go for a proper change in size, means the length and breadth should remain as it is, then you have to go for shift, press the shift key and then select the size. The size will change, increase, but the ratio of length and width will remain same. So you can go for shift. For a scaled resizing, means you want the length and breadth to remain same in proportion. So select one of the corner handles and use the shift key when you are dragging the handle to its new position. If you want to go for some sophisticated control of the size of the object, we have one more option, format. Select the object, click on format, then select object and this one, position and size. Here also you can change the size, width and height. Here also, if you want to go for resizing where length and breadth ratio remains same, means length and breadth are increased in or decreased in proper ratio, then we can go for keep ratio. So in keep ratio, if we change width, height will automatically change according to that. Otherwise we can change them independently also, width and height. Suppose right now I am changing it slightly, width I am changing. Okay, width got changed, and from right now right, you can right click here also and you can go for position and size from here also. I want to keep ratios. If in keep ratio, width and height will change. As we change the width, height will also change. Mean proportionally, length and width both will change. Okay. So if you want to keep the ratio, then two dimensions will change so that proportion is maintained, allowing for a scaled resizing, means proportion to length. If we change the length, proportion to that width will also change, and likewise if we change width, proportion to that length will also change. Grouping drawing object. What is the meaning of grouping? Suppose we have two drawing objects and we want them to work as if they are one, then we will go for grouping. So we can group the drawing object. So what we have to do, we have to select any one object and then we will hold the shift key and then we will select the another drawing object. Let's do this. Suppose we have two drawing object. I will click on one drawing object. You can see these green borders we are getting. Now we will press the shift key and then I will go for the selection. Both the drawing objects got selected. Okay, now you can see right now both the objects are different. We can move them separately, independently. You can see this one also separate and independent. But if I want them to work as if they are one, we will go for grouping of the object. So select the object, any one object that you want, suppose this one, then press the shift key, then select. Now you can see these green dots are there on both the objects. Now here right click and we can select group and we can click on group. Both will get attached and they will work as if they are one. Or we have one more option, format and then group and then group. So anyone we can select. Now you can see both have been grouped and both will work as if they are one. Whenever you will click on one, other will also get selected. Likewise, if you will change the size also, both will change the size accordingly. So both are working as if they are a single object. So what we did, we went to format and then group, or right click group and then select group from it. Likewise, we can ungroup them also. Right click and then ungroup. Now both will get detached and now you can work on them independently. Now you can see both got detached and now you can work with them independently. But there is a problem, you cannot include embedded or linked graphic in a group with drawing object. Means you cannot create a group of image and object. Suppose we have image and object here. This one is the image and this one is the object. We cannot group them. We can only group multiple object together, multiple shapes together, or we can group multiple images together, but we cannot group image and shape together. Positioning image or graphic within the text. Here we will learn how we can position image or graphic in the text, how we can change the position of the image with respect to the text. So whenever you add a graphic, means whenever you add an image to a text document, you need to choose how to position it. You want it to be at the top, in the center, at the bottom, with respect to the text, according to the text wherever you want to place it, or according to other graphics, means according to other images. You can shift the position of the image according to either text or according to graphics. Positioning of graphics is often very time consuming. You have to see where you have to position the graphic or the image, and in the starting maybe it will be tough for you to work on it, maybe very frustrating for both inexperienced user, and sometimes experienced users also face some problem, because writer or any word processing software, they are actually created for processing word rather than image, so they are not desktop publishing program. So there are some limitation, they are not flexible, means very easy to work. So there are some limitations to the flexibility in the positioning of images, so you will face some difficulty and it takes so much time to get to know things exactly how you have to do this. Now when we talk about the positioning of graphics are controlled by four settings. One is arrangement, second is alignment, third is anchoring, and fourth is text wrapping. Okay, so one by one we will see these. First of all, let's see arrangement. What is arrangement? Placement of graphics, means images, on an imaginary vertical axis. They are placed on an axis, and now the arrangement will control how the graphics are stacked upon each other, or how they are stacked according to the text. So let's see the graphics first. So suppose let's delete these object and let's go for graphic. Suppose we have one graphic right now. Suppose I attach one more. So I'm taking one more picture. Suppose this one. So you can see one more we are having, and let's take one more.
Actually, when you click on image and then you attach another image, the image gets replaced. So you have to click outside, then only you can get the another image. Otherwise, images will get replaced. Okay, now we can understand this better. What we are saying, arrangement refers to placement of graphic on an imaginary vertical axis. It controls how graphics, means images, are stacked upon each other. You can see right now they are stacked upon each other. See, I have placed all the three. So you can see this is the first one, second one and third one. So they are stacked as if we have three pages, first page, second page, third page, like this. So they are stacked on a imaginary axis. They have imaginary axis layer. So in the layer we have, this one is the first one, this one is the second one, this one is the third one. So these are the three layers: first layer, second layer, third layer. Now if I want to change the layer, means if I want to change the stacking, then we can go for it. Okay, so format, and then the option that we are going to use is arrange, right? Arrangement. Okay, so format and then arrange. And now suppose I want to bring this image back one, so it will go one layer back, one stack back. See, it went one stack back, means this one is now in the second position, this one is now in the first position. Okay, so likewise we have so many options. So you can see the options are format and then arrangement. Bring to front, it will come to the front, means suppose right now it is third one, it will come to the first layer. Bring to front, it will come to the first one, it will come to the front. Or you can put one step back, or you can put it back, directly back. Send to back means that it will go to the last. Back one, it will position it in the second position, back one. So only one it will back. You can see it is in the second one. This is our first one, and this is the third one. Likewise, we can change the arrangement of the images with respect to each other. So this is clear. Now we have alignment. Alignment and anchoring both are connected. So alignment actually refers to the vertical or horizontal placement of graphics. Vertical or horizontal placement of graphics means placement of images either at the top, bottom or in the center. This is the arrangement, placement in relation to any anchor point. So we have to select any anchor point, means with respect to what anchor point will be our reference, or with respect to what we have to change. Anchoring refers to the reference point for the graphics, means you have to align the graphics with respect to this anchoring point. So anchoring could be either page or frame or paragraph or even character also. So an image should have an anchor point, the reference point. With reference to that it will change. So let's see the anchor. So let's delete some of these images and let's go for only a single image. Okay, so this is our image and this is our anchor. This is our anchor. You can see right now the anchor is the page. Right now the anchor is the page. So image will be changed according to the page.
according to the page. So format, and you can see here anchor. So now you can anchor with whatever you want. Suppose anchor to page, anchor to paragraph, anchor to character, anchor as character. So suppose here right now actually this text was the anchor, this paragraph was the anchor. So suppose I change the anchor, format anchor, I want the anchor to be the page. Okay, now the page is the anchor. Okay, so with respect to page, the image will change accordingly. So we have changed the anchor, we have changed the reference point for the graphics. Now it is page is the reference point. Now according to that we can change the alignment. Okay, so let's change the alignment. Again format, then we have the alignment. So with respect to the page, you want the image to be at the top, center or bottom. So I want it to be at the top. So now with respect to the page, the image is at the top. Now with respect to page, I want the image to be at the center. So with respect to page, now you can see the image is at the center. Okay, so we are anchoring, means we are giving the reference for the image. Likewise, we can anchor frame of the object, we can anchor paragraph also. So image will be aligned according to the paragraph, means paragraph will become the reference, or we can even give character as reference. So there are 4 reference point or 4 anchoring point. Either the page will become the anchor, or the frame where we have placed the object, means suppose if we have inserted any object like rectangle, then that will also become the anchoring point or reference point. If we have put a paragraph can also become anchoring point. So it will align according to the paragraph, or even a character, a single letter is also taken as anchoring point. So images will change or aligned vertically or horizontally according to the anchor. Image will always have an anchor point. Previously also you saw that the paragraph was the anchor point. Then I changed it to the page as the anchor point. So both work connected with each other. We give the anchoring, then we give the alignment. Alignment you just saw, top, center, bottom. Next is text wrapping. Text wrapping refers to relation of graphics to the surrounding text, means how it will be changed. So how it will get wrapped around the graphic. Okay, either you can print it at the back, text will be at the front, image will be at the back, or image will be at the front, text will be at the back. Whatever way you want, you can wrap up the image according to the text. Okay, so let's do this also. And here you can see the settings can be accessed in a number of ways. I just access it from the format menu, and I got alignment, arrange option, wrap and anchor, all 4. You can see in the format menu I was able to find all 4: anchor, wrap, alignment, arrange. All 4 were available. Okay. From pop-up menu also you can get them. So right click, and here also you can see arrange, alignment, anchor, wrap. Here also you will find it when you will right click. So from this pop-up also you can find it. From the object toolbar also you will find it. Here you can see this is the object toolbar, and here you can see bring to front, send to back, anchor to page, anchor to paragraph, anchor to character, anchor as character. So here also you will find it. Okay, so again format, picture also. These are the various ways by which I can find these 4 options: alignment, arrange, wrap and anchor. So let's go for the last one, text wrapping. So we should have text also for text wrapping. So let me have some text. So now we have some text, and now we have to go for text wrap. So format wrap, wrap off, page wrap, optimal page wrap, wrap through, in background. Okay, let's go for wrap off. Okay, so in wrap off we have a different option. Now format and then wrap, page wrap. You can see now it is in the inside. Format, now wrap, optimal page wrap. Here you can see it will take the optimal place where we want, but where we place it will get the position with the text. Format, wrap, wrap through. So now you can see it is at the front and text is at the back. So these are the options for wrapping, means you can wrap it around the text in whatever way you want. Okay, these are the options which are available at the top. Here you can see this is the object toolbar, and these are the options which are available on the object toolbar. Apply style, wrap off, page wrap. These options are optimal page wrap, align left, center horizontal, align right, top, center, bottom, borders, line style, line color, background, frame properties, bring to front, send to back. These are also available. Change anchor, you can link the frames, unlink the frames. Okay, we do not have to study these things in detail, just information is given about them.